was thinking about this concept, the sort of the difference between a what they call a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. And you can apply this to probably anything, but like it's kind of easy to talk about it from the business perspective. And it's like, you know, if you don't want to see other people win, because like somehow it sort of like makes you feel a certain way, or if like, you know, you have a business that's doing the same thing that you are, and like a scarcity mindset would be thinking, you know, I don't want this other business to win because it's going to take away from me winning. And the abundance mindset is more thinking along the lines of, you know, there's enough for everybody, so I want to see everybody win. And I mean, I think obviously the abundance mindset is more healthy, but it's hard to remember. And I like to think that I have an abundance mindset, but I do see like the scarcity mindset creeping in sometimes. And what got me thinking about this, and I just want to preface this by saying this was my perception of how it was, how it all, the meaning behind what happened. I don't know if this is really what happened, but I mean, I know this is what happened. I'll just get into it. But I just want to say this is my speculation on what the person meant by it. So when I first opened Machine, I went to this other shop, and you know, it was another graph shop, and Jesus Christ, what is going on here? And we didn't have any products at the time. Like, we had our street paint product, and I was talking about carrying Rust-Oleum because I was like, that'd be cool. You know, we have our American-made spray paint for graph writers, and then for the colors, because we only have black and white, so I was like, for the colors, it'd be cool to have Rusto, so we'd have all the, you know, American-made paint products that writers use. And this was before we started carrying Montana and stuff like that. And so I found myself at this other graph shop, and I was talking to the guy there, one of the owners, and they had Rust-Oleum, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, you guys carry Rusto, because like, you know, it didn't seem like a super common thing for graph shops to carry Rusto, because you can get it at Home Depot. And so I was like, yeah, I want to carry Rusto at my shop. And he was like, oh, you're not going to be able to get it. And I was like, why is that? And he said, yeah, Rust-Oleum won't do business with any art-related businesses, and especially not any graph-related businesses. So if you have like a gallery or any of that kind of stuff, they won't work with you. And so I was like, oh, that sucks. Well, how do you guys get it? And they were like, the guy said, you know, I kind of created this fake company, and it's at a different address, and like all this kind of stuff. Like, he created this whole fake entity, and so when Rust-Oleum looked into it, that you know, it wasn't an art-related business, and that's what he told me. So I was like, oh, that sucks. So I kind of took what he said at face value, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll do something else. And then one day I was just sitting there, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just try it. Like, what's the worst that they'll say? You know, the worst thing that'll happen, they'll say no. You know, no big deal. So I go on the Rust-Oleum website, and I just find a phone number, and I call over there, and I was surprised I was able to get on the phone with this lady, and I was like, hey, I got a shop out in San Pedro. I'm interested in carrying Rust-Oleum. Just wanted to see what the process is. And she said, oh yeah, I'll just, you know, give me your information. And I think I had to submit, like, you know, my paperwork to show that we were a real business or whatever that was. And then they sent a rep out. So she's like, oh, we'll send a rep out, he'll meet with you and tell you all the stuff. So I was like, cool. So the rep comes out, and our first shop in Pedro was like a lot more down and dirty than what we have now. It was like the walls were all spray painted, and there was graph all over the place. And so I'm sitting in there with a guy, and we're talking, and he's real enthusiastic about doing business with us. And so once we kind of finished our meeting, I was like, so like, Rust-Oleum's cool with doing business like with places like this, and he's like, places like what? And I was like, well, we're like an art sort of graffiti shop. And he's like, we don't care about that. Like, as long as you have your business stuff in order, we'll do business with you. And I was like, really? I was like, did you guys ever have a problem like doing business with art places? And he's like, no, I have all these. He was talking about how he has all these places, and because like each sales rep has their own, area. And so he was talking about how he has all these places and all this kind of stuff, and that was never a problem. So I'm like, well, why the fuck did that guy tell me that? Why did he tell me all that shit? That, they're not going to do business with us because of all this and that. And so this is where I'm speculating, because I mean, he did say that. I'm not making that up, but like I have to speculate. Sorry, about what the intention was, And I don't know. To me, it seems obvious. Like, it was a scarcity mindset. Like, he didn't want us to carry Rust-Oleum, so he made up this bullshit so that I wouldn't bother even trying. That's my speculation, but I don't know. Why else would he tell me all that stuff if it just wasn't true? I thought it was kind of weird, but so in my opinion, I feel like that's kind of like a scarcity mindset. So like, we have people in the same industry as us. In a couple different ways, like different other graph shops, and the sticker industry is really saturated. So it's not like there's not like a few people printing stickers. There's a shit ton of people printing stickers, and so I've tried to exercise the abundance mindset. I mean, there's some information that I'm not going to share. There's some information that I keep to myself. Just it's not smart for business to to be wide open and tell everybody everything, obviously, but like little things like an example, when we first started printing, we were doing screen printed stickers, and then we got this rolling machine that had a cutter on it and all this kind of stuff, and there's quite a learning curve on how to, especially the cutting. The printing is the machine handles the printing, and obviously the machine handles the cutting too, but getting the cutter dialed in to cut, every time you change materials and all this kind of stuff, you put a new blade on, it's pretty challenging. And I had these kids come in. Well, they were kids to me, but they're in their 20s or something, and he was like, oh, you guys print on Roland, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, we're having such a hard time. We just got a Roland, and they happen to got the same one that we had. And they're like, we just can't get it to cut. And so like a scarcity mindset, I would be like, oh, well, you just gotta Google it or something. Or, kind of keep that information to myself. But an abundance mindset is more like, well, yeah, what are the problems you're having? That, and so he explained to me the problems we were having, and that happened to be a problem that I had just, excuse me, I had just solved. Like, I had just got it figured out, like changing to a certain kind of blade and all these kind of things. These really subtle kind of changes, but it like kind of changed everything. And as soon as I made these changes, everything got way easier. And so I just gave him all that information, even though he's a competitor. He's printing for the same kind of customers because he's involved in the graph community. And so, but with that said, like, I still find myself struggling with the scarcity mindset. Like, my thing, and I don't know if this is specifically a scarcity or abundance mindset, or if it's more of just a problem with like comparing yourself to others. Like, there's these different quotes that are like, you don't compare yourself to other people, you compare yourself to yourself yesterday and all this kind of shit. And so I don't know if this is exactly the same, but one thing that I do have an issue with is I have a hard time, when somebody is much younger than me and they're doing way better than me, like it makes me feel like I'm kind of like not doing very well, so I don't know if that's the same, but I know I did have the scarcity mindset a lot more when I was younger, especially when I was doing motion graphics. I can think of a lot of interactions that I really don't I don't look back on those times when I was, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I was sort of reacting to certain things with people that were in the same space as me. So like I felt like if they were doing better than me, then that's taking away from me, but that's not how it is. It's like there's enough for everybody. And so I think when it comes to like life and shit, I don't know, I don't really have any good examples. It's mainly business, but like I would imagine that like, if somebody in your family is doing really well and you're not rooting for them to win because it makes you feel bad about yourself, like that's a scarcity mindset. And an abundance mindset would be to root for everybody to win because there's enough for everyone. And one thing that I think about, and I kind of believe in this, all this energy and all these kind of things, and Andy Frisella had mentioned, like if you're not rooting for other people to win, then you're putting that energy out there that you don't like winning. So like if you have somebody in your life or a competitor or something like that, and they're winning and you're kind of like rooting against them, then you're sort of rooting against winning as a whole. Like that's the way he looks at it. And that kind of makes sense too if you think about, like if you're constantly rooting against people that are winning and hoping that they lose, you're sort of programming your subconscious to think like that also. So I would imagine that it probably also applies to your own self. Like if you're constantly rooting against people winning, then I wonder if you're sort of programming yourself to root for losing, even if it's for you. Like you're not intentionally rooting for yourself to lose, but like I don't know if that makes a lot of sense or not, but it's something to think about. And the more I think about it, the more I definitely enjoy having the abundance mindset more than a scarcity mindset, because like if someone else winning makes you feel bad about yourself, then you're still feeling bad about yourself. Like that's not a good feeling to have. But if you're operating on an abundance mindset and someone else winning makes you feel good for them, then that's a good feeling. So I mean it's also kind of benefiting yourself as well to have the abundance mindset. And then I guess I can close on this last sort of concept. It's like in business, and then I guess you could also apply it to life. If you're operating on a scarcity mindset, then you're probably not going to want to collaborate and work with people and kind of win together. Because like if you think about it, like we have a local graph shop in our area that sells the same stuff we do, but it'd be better to work with them and collaborate with them and and win together, because there's enough for everybody, rather than sort of compete with each other. And the same could be said for something like, let's say you're in a family and everybody is unhealthy, and like somebody in your family decides to get healthy and they start losing a bunch of weight and getting in shape and all this stuff. If they had a scarcity mindset and they were like, I want to be the only one in this family that's in shape, so I'm not going to like share any secrets or any, I'm not going to root for anybody else to do this. But like they would do a lot better if more people in the family were to collaborate with them, and everybody got healthy together. Because if you think about it, you'd have like an accountability group, everybody be able to share their experiences and participate in this thing together. And so by collaborating and having an abundance mindset, like, look, we can all win together, you're actually going to probably all win more. And the same could be said in business. Like if you're sitting there kind of like trying to keep everything to yourself and never collaborate with people and never work with people and never kind of like help other people win, you're probably missing out on opportunities where you could all win together and actually win more than you would on your own, you know. So I don't know, hope that makes sense. I just got home, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. But yeah, scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. I think the abundance mindset is going to win every time. All right, have a good day. I'll see you guys next time. All right.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys who are supporting the cause and continue to spread the love. And yeah, stay up.